Hey guys, Reyfar here. Today I'm going to talk about Heat 12 and try not to yawn as much. I'm still waking up. So we got the lovely front cover by Blotch again, detailing Dirk Silver and the unnamed writer character in Kandrel's story, Private Escape. I think that's the name of it. Yeah. And lovely stylized back into it over Angel City, I think it was called. And so Heat 12 came out in 2015, and it's like a caribou footprint or something like that. Some kind of survey. That's as far as I know. First up, we got Bears Repeating by Tony Greyfox, who did the one with the German Shepherd and the Binos. That's it, in 2, 3, or 4 heats ago. Uh, Heat 7, I think it was. And it's illustrated by lovely art of Don Ryu. I love how he does these kind of like the characters are kind of very full and like whatever in the faces and all that. So it follows Owen, a red panda who he does kind of like odd jobs and fills in for like mates and stuff and for to build money for college or whatever. And so he gets a call from his friend saying, "Look, oh this girl I know pulled out from this catering for she's fallen out and she can't cover her job for this catering company that's catering this high school reunion." And he picks it up because like it's $150 for the night. And so like through the whole night he's like giving eyes and getting eyes from this older bear at the not graduation reunion. And so spoilers, they sneak off and fuck or whatever. And then it turns into kind of a pretty fun and short kind of farce, like a la science fiction. That's it. So I got a lot of cool vibes from that. It was a lot. It was definitely a lot more fun in its own right. Not to compare it too hard. So I really like definitely like the kind of the lighter tone and the humor of the piece going through. Like I guess it was definitely a lot more engaging like than anything in the last heat. So like I was really going for it. One thing that like I was like, hey, is that just early on the DJ sets up and Owen and the rest of the people that are working for this catering thing are bitching about the choice of music, and here's the it's like, oh, the servers and I huddle to debate whether we should take over the music box with an iPod so the attendees can hear something that's been released since they graduated. And the thing is, and not that it's said in the piece, but like I would assume this is obviously artistic decoration. Whatever. And in the background it says it's the graduating class of 1999, and I'm just like, fuck you. There's so many good songs around that from like in 1990 and before 1990. Like, screw you, millennial. Dick. But yeah, like I don't know, it was a lot of fun. It's not really like a heavy introspective piece, so there's not generally much to talk about. You know, a pairing sort with the bear and the red panda. But yeah, I'm not sure what else to say. Like the dialogue was pretty fun between Stanley and Owen, and how he works out who he's batting, like getting all this money from, because he takes him out to like a he's basically the bear's his sugar daddy, and so like he keeps meeting him, and then he's worried that that this gravy train ain't gonna end. It doesn't, but there's a bit of a hitch. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Going on, I guess that's just been in the back of my mind is whole where Dark End was talking about female characters in gay stories, like how they kind of fall into trope or be bad or whatever. And Mrs. Connolly kind of fell towards that at the start, but then when when Owen actually met her, she's definitely a more of a likable person to a degree. Like she's got a lot more going on for her, like in her head. And then when they fuck, that's pretty hot too. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Like, it was just a very fun piece, just to go along with it. And I just love all the art by Don Rue too. Next up, we've got the ad Hibernation Honey by Kuma, who did the art for Altered States, which was the TF anthology that Fair Planet released early this year, late last year, sometime like that. So yeah, I quite like. No, fuck it. So from my point of view, like literally half of the freaking page is being blocked by my mic, and I'm like, oh shit, it's blocked in frame. I'm like, no. Yeah. I don't know, it's a little fun stylized ad. I was thinking it was TF at first, but I'm not so sure. I think that's just, he's just a kind of a different bear, but then it plays into the ad if it is TF, because, if he drinks the... What is it? Is it... Oh, it's a beer. If he drinks the beer, then he turns into a bear. So, bring out the bear. I don't know. But I do like the ad. I should see if I could get that as a print, because that's pretty cool. Next up is Creation Myths by Kyell Gold and Kamui. Not Kalmi, as I always pronounced it. I love his stylized artwork again, and this is very definitely striking. And then you get the cool kind of classical art of his when it's back with the characters. So basically, it's a pretty cool story. So like this like they're all young people. So this young guy, he's trying to woo this young girl that he's interested in by telling the whole creation story of their peoples. And like, he phrases it a certain way, like he tells it a certain way, and she's like, no, you're wrong. It's this way. Like the female, no, sorry, Anna has more agency. Yeah, Anna has more agency than her. I'm pretty sure I'm using the right word there. She picked which co-spirit she wanted out of all of them, and she picked the best one, and that's why we're called Anna Co. And he and he's just like, and then yeah, so she's like, that's why she picked the best co. And she's like, so you see, it is very important that I take my time and make the right choice. And she just walks away. He's like, but... And then the other young guy that's standing there, he's like, well, I've got a different version that Tulako has told. And basically he's like, oh, since there was only one Anna, the co-spirits gave each other company. And then, they slink away into the shadows, holding each other coyly with coy smiles. I do love all the last panels. Just all the facial expressions on the end. It's all so cute and adorable. It's such a lovely comic or graphic, whatever, graphic story. Yeah. Yeah, that was pretty much it. It was just a lot of fun and cute and adorable. Next up is Private Escape by Kandrel, illustrated by Scapo, which this is a very fun one. So it follows an unnamed writer. I'm pretty sure he doesn't have a name. I tried to scan it for about 10 minutes trying to find what his name was. But he's this Ocelot dude. And he's starting to write the 28th book in his whole Dirk Silver novel series, which is this kind of gritty, noir-y, modern day time set private detective fiction that follows Dirk Silver, is he a wolf or German Shepherd? I'm pretty sure he's a wolf. I forgot that distinction. I'm pretty sure he's a wolf. And yeah, so like as he starts writing the book, he kills off the love interest from the last book, and Dirk Silver, his character, gets really pissed. Like they're having conversations, like they're having conversations between each other in the real world, and Dirk's getting really pissed. Like, you always fucking do this. Just let me have fucking my life. Like, don't fucking toy me like some kind of wicked puppet master. He keeps using a lot. And so like, and like, yeah, he's like, don't toy me along, or I'll make my own decisions, you know. And like, as he tries to start writing, to kind of follow his original idea, Dirk Silver takes a lot more aggressive and violent actions, or leads up to take that. And they get into argument, and then like I wouldn't say he compromises, but like he kind of understands where like Dirk's coming from. He's like, oh shit, I can't do this to him. And then I think I might leave it there. Like, I don't really want to spoil it, because that's it's a bit. If I spoil it, it takes away a bit of the enjoyment from the piece going through. So I might just leave it there. Though there was a few things I wanted to talk about towards the end that I did like. So how to do this coyly. So yeah, like I really did love the interaction between Dirk and the writer, and how it was very, I guess, questionable, like with the language that the writer was using, like in his thoughts and dialogue, and the accents that were happening, how corporeal Dirk Silver is in the real world, and that was kind of cool. The character that the writer comes up with for Dirk is pretty cool. I really liked her. And then where that led with the story, and yeah, because there's a bunch of few things I do like, but I'd have to spoil it with where it goes. But it does go cool, like awesomely. And I think I might just leave it there. Though one thing that did make me like raise my eyebrow, because since he's written so many books in it, he's a bit tired of it, which was shown in his writing with how he was directing the story, and how like the big argument that Dirk and the writer were having was how kind of cliche and just by rote it is, and like it's like. And he's like, oh no, but the fans will love it. It's like, yeah, but you don't like it. You know, you're just doing the same shit over and over again. And then where it continues with, it's still set in Angel City. I'm just like, what? Like, I felt like, personally, like that would be like the one thing you're freaking tired of. Would it just being in Dirk Silver, like not just Dirk Silver the character. Because you like him so much. But, you know, what would I know? So, one other thing I wanted to add is, towards the end where, unnamed writer guys finishing up the end of the 27th novel, and it really shone through how the pacing was, like, because it's written in a short story, but it's clearly meant to be a novel, so the pacing of the novel is just completely off. Which, you know, I wouldn't say it's a flaw in the writing. I just think it's just a weird kind of hole that the author had gotten themselves in, because it's like, well, you can't have it like end like a novel. It's meant to just kind of be placed like what do you call it, like be in place of a novel, because yeah, it's all so fast. It's like boom 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 boom, and then they're away. It's just like, oh. I guess, you know, it's like, oh, it's a work in progress, or it's just a rough draft, but it's just like it's still shot through. And then yeah, so that was pretty much it. Oh, and the whole Dirk Silver clambering up onto the coffee table and then leaning forward into the oh shit, I should look at the Jaguar something. The Ocelot. Shit, no, he's an Ocelot. When Dirk Silver the wolf, I'm 99% sure he's a wolf, and yeah, he's leaning over the coffee table and just giving me all kinds of shivers. So cool. Oh, the emotional, impactful scene was very emotional and impactful. I got a bit really sad too. That was done well. Well, you know, one thing I was very kind of questionable of the writer's age, considering how many books he's written, and obviously it didn't come up in the text, and I guess like most kind of furry art is a bit biased towards younger or unaged looking characters, because I guess it's kind of it's one of those tricky things to convey. Because yeah, like in this picture, he looks like a 20-year-old, or maybe you could say 30s, because he goes to the gym because he's got pecs. So but I don't know. His arms aren't that big either. But I do like the whole Ocelot character, and he's a pretty cool goatee looking thing going on. Also, one thing there was the kind of recurring trope with posting the saucy salacious. There's kind of a recurring trope going on with posting the saucy salacious interlude on the internet again, compared to Paid in Silver. I'm pretty sure that was called the previous Kandrel story with the cyborg wolf dog man. I'm like, how often does this come up? Yeah, the other thing was, it's not really important, but no, like, seriously, like, pick up, check out this story, it's super cool. A Private Escape, that's the name of it. Blah. Next story, poem, Meena Mae by Huskyteer, illustrated by Jess Beckley. Jess Beckley is an artist I'm not familiar with. I opened the the UK artist, just like Huskyteer. Cool. Still doing amazing work is she still around? Yep, she's still around. That's a recent piece of work. Yeah, so Meena Mae is such a fun poem. It's pretty cool seeing a spying kind of themed one come out of Huskyteer. It only took like 4 issues of Heat or something. Yeah, no, it's definitely a fun poem. Like, it tells a lot about her. Like, I don't know, it's super cool. I love the artwork too with the panther. It's very nice. Next up is The Games We Play by Dark Cannon. I love this illustration by Leo Crota or something like that. Who's another artist I'm familiar with, and they're pretty cool artists. They do a lot of fantasy themed stuff by the looks of it, so it looks like they're a good fit for the D&D story. I'm pretty sure they're American. I'm just gonna assume that. So on to Dark End story. So this one was a lot of fun. I was thinking how let me give it a train of thought. So next up is the games we play by Dark End, which revolves around this D&D game that these group of friends are playing. David, Fox, Alan, a bear, Zeke and Lana are both bats, and Zeke and Lana are together, and Alan and David are together, and yeah, so they end up in a very kind of just a pretty saucy encounter with a succubus, and they're under the effects of this lust spell, and Zeke is very flustered by this. Also, and he's a newcomer to D&D, like that's kind of a thing going on with him as well. And then, but his girlfriend Lana is like really into this and like super going for it. And he's just like very like awkward by it. And they're trying to encourage him or whatever. And I'm trailing a bit here, but it is a really cool kind of character piece that I like, and I love the whole kind of the D&D wrapping of it or whatever. Like I like the whole setting. Like it's a very very fun piece. Like it just like I got most of what was going on, even though I've never played a D&D game. Like everyone's heard of D&D or whatever, and how it works with the dungeon master and the D20s and initiative and all that shit. And but I feel like I'd be a lot like Zeke, where it's like I'd have to turn to someone. It's like, can you like add this shit up to me? Like what am I doing? So like I related a lot with Zeke when he's just frustrated, like he just half doesn't care, like with what he wants to do, like especially like being in this very awkward situation for him, where he's just like, I don't know, just jerk off or something. So I had a lot of empathy for him, but the main contention is between Zeke and Lana. I'm not sure really what else to say. Like I had to stop when Zeke and Lana were having their argument outside and go back and reread it, because I confused myself with the dialogue and I thought I missed something. So it was because I misinterpreted their argument that was about David and Alan knew that they fucked or something like that. Like he's just a very kind of, I guess, private person, and but the argument was a bit about that. It was, but also just like it's more about like just him not being like afraid to be honest in front of his friends, kind of deal going on. But yeah, I misinterpreted it. I'm like, were they boyfriends? And like I go back and like one of the first freaking sentences is like spoken dialogue is either Lana or Zeke saying that they were together or something. And I'm like, I don't know how I did that. And I don't know how I did that. I think the heat's getting to me. But yeah, no, it's a lovely piece. I love I think my favourite illustration is this one with Lana flexing a pose with her Dragon Lord character, what was his name, Liflana or something? No, Herschel or something. I'm pretty sure it's something like that. And how she's saying, she wants to she wanted to flex so good, like so hard that his armor just pops off, and like he manages to do it to his like his chest armor, but David's like, no, I'm not letting you like pop off your like iron codpiece with a massive boner. Also, ouch. Chainmail codpiece, sorry. I loved a lot of like David's dialogue. Like, I mean, it made sense to what I presume a DM talks like. But no, Lana was a lot of fun. I loved her character. I also resonated a lot with Alan. Like it was kind of alerted how like he's probably pretty fucking tired. He's still in his work uniform, hadn't even taken his tie off, and like all his kind of like things that he says, if he's just rarely, it's like a couple words or just a sentence, and I'm like, yeah, I've been there playing board games, or my last night at TFF stuck on this board game. I just wanted to go to fucking bed, and these people were taking their time, and I'm just like, yeah, just fucking this card. Like, I'm done, just let me leave. I'm like I'm so done, but I wasn't rude enough to just get up and leave. Yeah, it's a whole lot of fun story. I think that's probably why I can't talk too critically about it. It's just because I enjoyed it so much and just wasn't thinking that way. That's pretty much it. Oh, also, look at that motherfucking hot size play going on there. Woo! Oh, actually, yeah, the story point kind of rule thing, it sounded incredibly hokey when it was explained in, like, the one paragraph, where it's like, oh yeah, I just hear, like, screaming, nerds, where it was, this is where the game got interesting. The Chronicles of Mystania, as it was called, had a fairly robust rules system, but allowed players to bring up story points. Any rule, absolutely any, could be overridden provided a sufficiently good explanation was given. Good use of story even earned extra bonuses. And I'm just like, nerds. But, like, I mean, it was very important to the story. It's pretty cool in practice. But when I read that, I'm just like, oh my god. Next up is TLC by Rechan, illustrated by Kandrel. Who's a bit familiar. Give me a second, look her up. Yeah, no, they're pretty cool artists. They're still around. I'm gonna assume America again, judging by some of these photos. But no, they're pretty fucking cool. They didn't go to AC this year, so I haven't read the journal, I'm just looking at it. Yeah, TLC by Rechan, which was the one in Intimate Little Secrets. The story where this wife is trying to find creating and engaging ways to have, well, I guess, pleasure herself and her husband, who's like wasting away with like a degrading disease, something. I mean, it's something to do with muscles. It had a proper name, and yeah, wow. I started reading it and wasn't in the mood for it again, and I read the last page and a half. Just get the middle. It's a good story. It's just not my thing these days. There's a lovely artwork by Kandrel in the latest of the piece. From what I do remember, I like the character interactions between the family and all the stuff going on there, and like it's well worth its inclusion in Heat 12. It's probably just for someone else. Next up is Pizza Repair by 333456, who had the comic, was it Kisses or something? I think it was Kisses in a couple heats ago, and oh man, I love their work. It's I can see where it's improved, but I wouldn't be able to vocalize it well enough. But I fucking love this comic. It's so fun. Like, I was raving about it on Discord last night or something to my friends. I can't remember what brought it up. So yeah, it's this cute pairing between this bull girl and this meerkat, and the bull girls comes home with like pizza with an extra large sausage, and then they have like fun with it and go along. I love a lot the faces and stuff and whatever. And then the last panel is like they're I wouldn't say a de-stressing, but they're talking about it. I was like, what do you want to do next? It's like Dr. Nurse or Professor Student. And he's like, but can we... And the bull girl's like, but can we still have pizza? She's like, just call me Dr. Professor Pizza. Yeah, that's great. I do love that comic. Next up is Cosmoknots. It is a pretty saucy poem about two astronauts. So the poem's written from the perspective of the assumedly Russian canine girl, and yeah, so like they're it's the end of their coupling. So which is the whole knot scene, and there's this pretty cool flowery stanzas about when he slips free, and then the pearls of semen are floating up past their breasts or whatever. But yeah, basically the whole the coupling's like broadcasted to the planet Earth from back home, and like all these people are watching. And it's just, he's like, I can almost hear. Oh god, that'd be so bad to read out. And she's talking about how like she can hear like Missing Control like scrabbling to cut the feed and stuff like that. But it's a really fun and quirky poem. Like, I love it. So did I pronounce it Cosmoknots or Cosmonauts? I'll probably have to check that in editing. I think it's the Order of Diana. Is that the name of it? So next up is Glory of the Gods in this incredibly obvious cut and redo. So the point of this is watching my edit through. I'm just like, I was so fucking rambly, so I wanted to redo this part again because I fucking love Nighteyes Dayspring. So it's illustrated by the lovely work of Simul, who. So I'm not sure what my favorite illustration is here, whether it's this super cute one with Sanus and Askin there, or this super cute one of Sanus, or this super cute one of Sanus. But I think you can probably tell why I'm incredibly biased towards this story, because there's a Fennec Fox character, and he is the best, despite being a bit of a fucking idiot. So basically, the main riff of this story is, it's pretty cool. So, Askin is it starts with him trying to complete the ritual to get into the Order of the Scroll, which is devoted to the goddess Diana and knowledge and whatever. And he spent like the last year trying to get into this cult. And unfortunately, he fails and he can't understand why. And so he's talking to his roommate and best friend Sanus, who's the cutest Fennec Fox in the world. Also, this is set in presumably ancient Greek times. Because there's a mention of Mount Olympus, so I'm just going to assume that's where it's at. So yeah, and Sanus is like, you know, you can do something else, whatever, you know, pick yourself up. And he's like, oh, I don't know what to do. And so, yeah, so he's chatting with he's chatting with Sanus, and Sanus, you know, he's a little bit upset for him, but like he didn't really want Askin to go down that stuffy route anyway. And then, during all this, Sanus breaks it to Askin that like he's gonna perform the rite of the wine song, which is like the because he's part of the cult of Bacchus, which is the hedonistic kind of dual opposite to the knowledge one, which is all about partying, wine, and sex. And he's performing this final rite where he sacrifices himself at the end. And Askin's upset by this, and he doesn't know what to fucking do. Like, he's gonna lose his best friend. He didn't get into the cult of the Order of the Scroll, and he's lost. And he finds himself, so he finds himself lost and finds kind of some sort of guidance with this older. It's a fox, right? Yep. Yes, he's a red fox, and this older fox who left the Order of the Knowledge for unknown reasons, and well-known reasons. It's elaborated in later. I can't remember. And so because he works out, he pretty much he doesn't want to lose Sanus, and so like if he can't have Sanus, then So first he tries to dissuade Sanus from kind of getting out of this final sacrifice bin or whatever, and Sanus, you know, is like a bit understandably upset, like why do you give a shit now and all that crap, and it turns Askin down, and he reveals to Askin that, like, you know, I was like, you know, this like stupidly, he's like, you know, I've always wanted you, and then, you know, you kept turning me down, so I figured you would have got into the Order of Knowledge, and then I just wanted to die, pretty much. Which is why he volunteered himself for this rite of sacrifice. And Askin's, like, upset by this, and, you know, he wants to find a way around this, or whatever, so he eventually comes to the conclusion that, like, well, I may as well die too with to be with Sanus in the afterlife, serving Bacchus. So he joins the Order of the Bacchus and goes along with the rite of the Rhine song with Sanus, unknown to Sanus, mind you. And yeah, so after all of that, it's like, for some reason in my head it was a lot more complicated, but now I kind of just followed it through. It's like, oh yeah, I can fucking see where the story's going. But no, I mean, the ending I might go into a bit second. But no, it's definitely a very fun piece. I mean, I'm incredibly biased because Sanus is a Fennec Fox and he's a pretty cool guy. Despite, you know, having flaws, just like Askin being just as probably dumb as Sanus. And yeah, and just how their unrequited love for each other is kind of brought into subtle turmoil between the gods, somewhat. And yeah, and like it's like because I was screaming about like halfway through. It's just like for fuck's sake, Sanus, if you just said to him like, I don't want you to go through with the Order of the Knowledge because I want to fuck you and I love you or whatever, then none of this shit would have happened. If you guys just fucking talked it out, talked your shit out. But yeah, no, it's a lovely story. Okay, so one of the things I wanted to kind of bring up is how the whole the signs from the gods were very kind of hokey. It's like, oh, the ruffling of the wind and whatever. I know how omens and work, but like especially towards the end, with the whole goddess Diana bringing an omen to protect them so they don't get sacrificed, is so like, oh, fuck, I tried to look this up before I recorded it earlier in the day. So one of there's some ancient Greek philosopher Dio. I don't know his full fucking name. I can't remember it. But every time he talks about like ancient history, he always talks about omens before like Caesar's death and Alexander's death and Pompey's death and battles and Augustus and Agrippa's death, and he always brought up the fucking birds. In the podcast I listened to, it's always like a fucking big point. It's like, yeah, but what did Dio say the birds fucking did? And I was just waiting for it. It's like, and then a sand-colored bird danced with a dark coloured bird, and then they were spared from a lightning bolt that crashed between them, but neither got killed, and then they flew away. I was waiting for it, but it didn't come. This kind of lame signs. But what's the other thing I was gonna say? Oh yeah, so the one thing that I was mentioning to Nighteyes Dayspring is that thinking about the story critically, other than just enjoying it a whole lot, is I really liked and really disliked the sex scene towards the end between Sanus and Askin, and how it made a lot of sense thematically to the story, but for my own kind of pleasure and enjoyment, it's such a letdown. It's just like, oh, it's just like a ritualistic fucking. It's like, I was happy that the Fennec Fox was on top for a change, but it's just like, no, they're not enjoying it, really. Yeah, so, no, like, I fucking, you know, as bad as to pick a favourite, this is definitely my favourite, just because it's got Sanus, because he's a Fennec Fox character. But he is a whole lot of fun, and you know, I empathise with him despite him being a complete idiot and not voicing his mind. You know, you can't turn up to your roommate's house drunk and expect him to get that you have feelings for him. Like, he's just gonna think you're drunk and you just wanna fuck and you're horny or whatever, and you're touchy-feely. Which I found out, was it last weekend? My manager was holding a Christmas party at his house, and I found out that he was like a very touchy drunk. He always had his hand on someone's shoulder, like, not in a kind of bad way, just you know how it is, like, there's always that one guy or one girl that just has to be touching someone when they're drunk. But yeah, so that's my updated Glory of the Gods. Next up is Ad Feminine Patel by Amon Omega. And I had to look a bit closely to see it. I'm like, oh yeah, it is like their style. And it's a pretty cool ad. I like the names of all the different teas. So Rin Herbal, Dark Cherry Bloss, and 50 Shades of Earl Grey. So like, and there's a Chai Chicka Bow Wow. This sounds like a fun place. Next up is the Whiteout comic by Rukis, which tells the story of how her characters Pakwana and Ransom met, which I think she recently put online, or a couple pages. I don't know. I vaguely remember something like that. But yeah, so I think really it's best summed up as if you're a fan of those stories and her work and those comics, and like, you know, you'll want to get this or whatever. But it's a pretty cool kind of period piece. I do like it. Yeah, I'm surprised I can't say much about it, but Oh no, I still never finished Off the Beaten Path. Like I've still got like halfway, and I'm just like, oh. I mean, that was back in, when was I in Dallas? I was reading it when I was in Dallas, and I never finished it a while ago. And is this the last thing? It's the last thing, isn't it? Yep. So the last story is Unfading, by Slipwolf, illustrated by Cadmium T, who I'm quite unfamiliar with. Give me a second to look them up too. And he is living in Connecticut. Unfading by Slipwolf is it's a story. I really did like this story. I kind of wish I'd told about this last, so I had more energy around it. So it's the first. Well, I mean, Dark Air mentions it in the afterword that it's the first sort of trans issue story. So, the wolf Amar, like her whole life she hasn't felt right, and then as we follow her, like it's split between. So it's following her as she's going through the last stages of her transition surgery and what's the word, surgery, I guess surgery and procedures, while also flashing back to the early days in her life, and how first she felt uncomfortable, and how she worked out. I want to say. I'm gonna feel bad by just saying it as bluntly as like worked out how she really felt, or I guess more comfortable like with her she was or whatever, and how she came to be with Rick, who's been her supporting husband. No, I'm pretty sure it's just supporting partner, I think is probably a better word. Who's a rabbit. So yeah, so she's she's a wolf, and she's always felt like so she's a rabbit trapped inside of a wolf's body, if that's the proper way to kind of put it. As you can see, I'm not personally versed in this. It's something I definitely want to be, and I definitely want to be using the right words to convey it. I think it's, yeah, like as I'm trying to, because yeah. But what I did love about it is it's something I'd like to know also, like I think how kind of close it is to the kind of real experience. I feel like there's a few things there that it's definitely it's a very emotional piece, like going through, like there's a lot of heartbreaking things, and just like the struggles of going through transitioning to be who you really are, and then it's kind of spiced with the whole, I guess, the species stuff, with furry. So, you know, there's one really distraught thing for her is, as she's going through it, like there's like another rabbit at her workplace, and he kind of like snubs her, and like it kind of hurts her that that whole species affinity thing isn't there yet, and how it's kind of distraughting for her family, and then and other people are taking it, and it's just like, oh, it's such a roller coaster, and I'm not sure, because I was about to cry at the end. I was reading it on my break yesterday at work, and I was about to cry, and then like I I got paged by my store manager Helen, and I'm just like, I was just instantly broken out of it. I was just like, God damn it. And shout out to Helen. I love her. She's one of my favorite store managers. And what scene? So there's the scene early on where she threw up because it's a dietary shift to go from being a carnivore to a herbivore, and how her stomach's still adjusting from it, and she's like constantly tired and in pain from all these things going on. Oh yeah, it was the scene towards the end where she has this big fight with her twin brother, and she rushes and takes a huge bite out of some steak and just makes herself sick because her dietary stuff and her metabolic lining on her stomach has changed enough to the point where that's starting to affect her instead, and it's so upsetting. But then there's the highs of the sex scene between Rick and Amar, and how the reason why she's got such a strong affection for Rick is that when she's with him, like, she feels closest to her real hers than she typically does or ever does, and it has definitely an uplifting ending where it was successful. Yeah, so I did love the piece and how it was a typical roller coaster, and I think Slipwolf did a really good job with it. And yeah, it was really cool to see. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Like, it's definitely really, really worth it to pick it up. For it. As I'm falling asleep here, that for some reason, I guess I'll go through, Heat 11, sadly no crossword this year, there wasn't one next year, but there is one this year, so, hopefully I've finished reading Heat 14 before the end of the year. I've only got a week and a bit, so, I mean, I knocked this over in a few days, because it was, everything was so goddamn fucking interesting and engaging, which I feel really bad saying that in contrast to Heat 11, but I have also been thinking that I kind of just want to redo pretty much most of that video. I might salvage one or two things, but I'll go read through Heat 11 again, write out some notes, and then have the fucking lot better video, because I was listening to parts of it, and I was like, this is so bad, like, this is not selling it at all. So Heat 12, was brought to us by managing editor Dark End, artistic director Tegan Gavitt, layout designer Tegan Gavitt, executive editor Lobex, chief publisher Jeff Eddy, cover illustration by Black Tegan, Bears Repeating by Tony Greyfox, illustrated by Don Ryu, Hibernation Honey, illustrated by Kuma, Creation Myths by Kyell Gold, illustrated by Kamui, A Private Escape by Kandrel, illustrated by Scapo, Meena Mae by Alice Huskyteer Dryden, illustrated by Jess Beckley, for everything you use it, Barely Feline, and God, ants, and The Games We Play by Dark End, illustrated by Lau Crota, TLC by Rechan, illustrated by Can Talent. Pizza Repair by 33456. My name is 33456.tumblr.com. Cosmoknots by Tempe Okun. Illustrated by Peggy Bruno. Glory of the Gods by Nighteyes Dayspring, illustrated by Simul. Feme Patel by Amon Omega. Whiteout by Rukis. Unfading by Slipwolf, illustrated by Cadmium T. And Afterglow by Husky. Afterglow Husky is illustrated by Lady Rain. That's a piece of heavy husky. Heat is published 2015 by Sofawolf Press. And yeah. Yeah, so Heat 12 was just a whole lot of fun. Very enjoyable. And then very emotional at the end. So it's probably up there. I need to work it down to like what top 3 ones I would suggest. This is probably close. Yeah. So yeah, I've been Reyfar, and I'll catch you later.